I love the venue actually and the place and the healthy food. But I think what's missing is a glass of wine for next time. Around this time, probably should talk to Dr. Velarde. Will be better. All right. And hopefully it will be interactive. Actually, I'm one of the endocrinologists at UF. I've been doing endocrinology. That's mean take care of hormone, diabetes, thyroid. I'm board certified in metabolism, although I have no idea what to do with that. And I've been practicing for the last years, 18. So, and I did not pick this topic, by the way. I have no idea who picked this topic. Any of you picked this topic? Okay. And they picked the topic. It said, what happened to my metabolism? The problem is I have no idea. But hopefully we can discover that. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to make it more interactive. I made a few slides just to start a little bit, and I will stop, take all your questions. Okay. I know when people ask about metabolism, they all come to my clinic. They want to know why I'm gaining weight, usually. Is that what you want to hear about, or should we? Yeah, okay. Also, I have no idea what to do with that. Okay. Make it tough. All right. Okay. How many of you are in the medical field? Okay, perfect. How many of you are over 7? I'm just kidding. Over 7. All right. How many of you will know up front what metabolism means? Huh? Besides just making me gain weight? No? Okay. All right. Okay. I started with this slide on purpose, I put speed up your metabolism at midlife. Because unfortunately, people want a magic bullet, a pill, or something just, give me, I need to speed up my metabolism. Or people come to our clinic and say, it's my thyroid, doc. They told me my thyroid, or it's my hormone. Should I take estrogen and speed up my metabolism? If you don't take anything from this whole lecture, it's what you see on this slide, technically, what speed up your metabolism. And everything else is bologna a good word to use?
Bologna's a great
okay,
word.
because
Bologna's a great word. I'm going to try this one more time, okay? Just humor me.
I heard that they're videotaping me, so I want to say. Better? Is it on? Okay.
Maybe
I can't
it needs to
hear.
be closer to your lovely face.
My wife is here, by the way.
Oh, that's okay. She won't mind. She would agree with me. Try that.
Better? Okay. All right. If we have to define metabolism, is the process by which your body converts what you eat and drink, what you had tonight. During this complex biochemical process, the calories into the food and beverage are combined with oxygen to release the energy your body needs to function. So that's what metabolism means. What we eat, we convert into energy, okay? And we are all born, what I'm doing backward, okay, with what we call a basic metabolic rate. We all have like a number if you want. And I'm going to show you there's a way also we can measure what we call basic metabolic rate. I'm going to go over what we call, it's the process by which your body converts what you eat into and drink into energy. During this complex biochemical process, calories in food and beverage are combined with oxygen to release the energy in your body. Even when you're at rest, we're doing nothing, okay? We need certain energy, even when you're sleeping, what we call the basic metabolic rate, to repair our cell, for the heart pump. Okay, so even we need some calorie, okay, what we call the basic metabolic rate, just even we're doing nothing, no physical activity during our sleep, that's what we need to repair our cell, for the heart to pump, okay? So that's what we call as a basic metabolic rate. We can measure that. We have machine in the office, lab, okay? We can breathe in it for a couple of minutes, and then we can come up with a number on average, okay? And that's what I call the minimum calorie that we need, okay? Not to gain weight, not to lose weight, just to maintain this function, this vital function that we need, okay? On average, people walk into the clinic, we have sometimes those machines we can measure, but if we have to pick a number, it's going to be plus or minus a little bit. Maybe it's around 1,400. If you're a big muscular guy, man, maybe around 1,800. Okay, someone maybe smaller and have more fat than muscle, maybe around 1,200. It's going to be in that range. For example, on average, if you take someone around, like, say, 60 kilo. If you have 70 calories per hour we need, so it's around 1,700. This does not change much, and we can calculate exact number. You can go to those weight loss clinic. They want to be fancy. Hey, miss, we charge you $200. We're going to check your basic metabolic rate. They're going to come up with a number, 1480, 1385, okay? This is what we need exactly. Again, you can guess it sometimes or have an average. Depending on your height and weight, it's around anywhere between 14 to 1,700, okay? This basic metabolic rate, okay, is a little bit influenced by our age, gender. Men have more muscles, muscle need more calorie, so it can be a bit higher. Physical condition, body weight, and the gene. We all, okay. But we are born I want you to get this, we are born with this basic metabolic rate, or we have this basic metabolic rate that we cannot change. And that's why I was picking at the first slide. People say, change my metabolism or boost my metabolism. That's the basic we can. May go up 10% up and down, little bit, but it's not going to change that much, okay? All right. Although I'm going to show you there are certain medical conditions, certain medication that may increase, like slow it down or boost it up a little bit, okay? But that does not change. Okay. All right. Food processing, there's something called thermogenesis. Anytime you eat also, you spend calorie to digest this food. That's what we call also kind of thermogenesis. Physical activity and exercise, a rule of thumb I used, it's about 100 calories per mile if let's say you're running. And let's say if you have a 180-pound person, I made this example, and then 65 calories per mile if you're running on average, okay? So you can burn for a 120-pound person. So 65 for 120, like around 100 calories, like around 180. It'll give you an idea, like if you run, walk, how much you're gonna spend. What also we have, what we call it sometimes the need, or non-exercise thermogenesis, okay, that we need. This activity includes walking like from room to room, like a bit of activity. Because when you say activity, people think about, I'm going to go exercise, running. That's what activity is. Okay. This activity includes walking, a little bit activity such gardening, fidgeting even, okay. That's depending how active you are. You can use up to 100 to 800 calories. So what I'm trying to say initially, we have this basic metabolic rate that we all have set, all right? Plus or minus 5-10%. It may change a little bit, more muscle, less muscle, okay? You compare to this other lady because she's, let's say, have a bit more fat or less muscle. She can be around 1,500, I can be around 1,400, but it's going to be the same. So it's all about math because people want to change their metabolism. If my basic metabolic rate is, let's say I'm going to use myself as an example. It's 1,400. I'm just picking an example. And then I need to eat per day around 1,400 calories to maintain my basic metabolic rate. Let's say I'm not a very active person. I only do much of like moving a little bit room to room, Remember, it can go from 100 to 800 calories, depending how active, Sometimes even in clinic, we walk like half a mile going back and forth to the front, Some people have different kind of job. They have a very active job, They work in construction. Or some people have only a desk job. They do nothing. There's not even much of a physical activity. So on average, okay, this can change. 100, 800, 900, 1,000. Let's say I'm a fairly moderately active person who does not exercise every day. Let's say I need another 600 calories. So technically, I need to maintain my weight 2,000 calories, okay? So 2,000 calories is fine. What's going to happen with time? If you eat on average 100 calories more than what you need, okay? Let's say I need 2,000, okay? Over 10 years, okay, that sometimes can be around a few pounds. So do the math, okay? What happened with metabolism, with aging? Well, menopause. People say, okay, I hit 40, I hit 35, I hit 39, or perimenopause, I start to gain weight. It's mainly coming here, right? And they don't like it. Why? What happened during the menopause time? We have less estrogen, okay? We have less physical activity, okay? Our muscle mass go down, usually. So your metabolism, this basic metabolic rate, let's say I'm a woman, I'm right now 45, and I'm going to hit menopause. I just told you I needed 1,400 before, right? So right now, just because of that, I have a bit more fat, less muscle, okay? my basic metabolic rate, what happened with the age a little bit, is going to slow down a little bit. So that's the time when you can, this BMR that we are kind of, as I said, born kind of with it, okay? It's going to slow down. Now I'm not at 1400, I'm at 1200. You add to that around perimenopause, even for men, not just women, you know, okay? When you get to middle age a little bit, and now middle age go to 65, as you know, okay? So you have, all right, do the math. It's all like check and balance, okay? I'm right now, my basic metabolic rate is a bit 200 calorie less, okay? Plus, I'm having less muscle mass. That's mean even my metabolism is being slower, okay? Because remember, muscle burn more than the fat. If you have 10 pounds of fat compared to 10 pounds of muscle, okay, this basic metabolic rate to keep those muscles running need, let's say, 1.5 times more calorie to keep those running, let's say, compared to this 10 pounds of fat. So on the other hand, also remember, I have this little bit more fat, less muscle, okay? I'm not moving that much, I'm not exercising, okay? Plus, I've been eating every year for the last 20-some years, even 100 calories more, I'm going to put some weight because check and balance, you know, I'm accumulating, all right? So that's why people around middle age end up usually putting more fat, especially central fat, which is bad as a central fat compared to the hip here or the waist, okay? Central fat here is the bad fat that can cause diabetes, high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, too. And and then remember, and also depending how much you're feeding, okay, over the years. So over the last 10 years, people remember only they come to the clinic, I've been behaving the last 1 year. But you did not, but we did not gain the weight over the last 1 year or two, you know, we've been gaining weight or eating more, okay, and then we get frustrated when, okay, now I'm doing my exercise, I'm going by this low 1200 calorie diet. I'm going to explain to you what 1200 calorie diet is, okay? And I'm not losing weight and get frustrated. There's something wrong with my metabolism. Hopefully I made you, metabolism does not change, lady. Maybe a little bit, okay? So what's going on? Less physical activity, okay? Less muscle, okay? And a little bit less basic metabolic rate. All right. How to overcome that? Remember, if I'm eating, let's say right now, 2,500 calories every day because I'm eating more, going every other diet, happy hours, and then free food, I know. We're eating more, okay? So we're eating more. So what's going to happen? You're going to definitely gain weight. So how can you speed up the metabolism? Because remember, hopefully I can convince you by the end we cannot speed up the metabolism. I'm going to show you some disease, some drug that may be a little bit, okay? But for long, we cannot speed up the metabolism. So how can we make this balance? Make it better. You're going to definitely eat less, okay? Right? More physical activity. And a lot of time we don't need to eat too much less, okay? There's this idea about starvation diet. It only works for a very short term, okay? So whoever tell you, any of my patients are here, I tell them 1,200. It's only so they can be happy for a short term. Long term, it doesn't do anything. Because I'm going to show you, actually, there's a lot of study, even the 1,200 calorie does not work for a long term. Actually, on a very low calorie, you lose muscle, okay? So it may be very okay for a short term to lose a bit of weight. But if you lose also too much muscle and your metabolism will go down. Okay, and that's why we say sometimes your hypothalamus, the brain, readjusts this basic metabolic rate, you know? So, again, that's when it comes to balancing, okay? If I can increase my physical activity, remember I told you it can be just even something minimal, like from 100 to 800. Imagine I'm doing right now 1,000. Or I was only doing 400 and now I'm doing 800, no? It's going to be in favor to help me lose a little bit of weight or at least not keep on gaining. Because if you're going to keep this on a positive balance, you're going to eventually keep on gaining weight, okay? What else happened about menopause? People ask if, I'm sorry, I have to go back. If you tell me menopause is one of the problems, around menopause, okay, my basic metabolic rate is going to slow down a little bit, this 200, okay, calorie on average per day. What about give me estrogen, give me the hormone therapy? Should it be better? Anyone knows about that? Okay. All right. Actually, it's very controversial. Otherwise, it's very easy. You replace the hormone therapy, you know, you're menopausal, just give you hormone therapy, you should lose your belly fat. Unfortunately, there is some very minor studies, small studies, showing doing a little bit of estrogen therapy may help a little bit, okay? But nothing drastic. And it is controversial. Some other study did not show much. Although we can blame it on the estrogen, but to blame it only on the estrogen means if I replace, I should benefit. We don't usually. It does not mean we cannot use, it's a different topic, we can talk for hours about hormone therapy. It doesn't mean a woman cannot benefit from hormone therapy for other things, well-being, hot flashes, night sweats, okay? Skin sometimes. But just to boost the basic metabolic rate or my metabolism may not help that much. Sometimes also we're going to talk about sleep that can be bad, okay? People who don't sleep well, and we don't know why, also could be increasing some stress hormone like the cortisol and make you feel tired the next day, so you don't do much physical activity because you feel tired, okay? So sometimes hormone therapy, if one of the issues with a woman around menopause is major night sweats, I'm waking up, I can't sleep, by treating that, maybe they feel better the next day energy-wise. And maybe they will lose some weight because they're more active. It does not mean the hormone therapy make them lose the weight, okay? All right. What are the best type of exercise? I just told you there's not much using just exercise and cutting down a little bit the portion. I'm going to go more in details about the portion, what amount of calorie. Any kind of exercise, if you're going from 0, it's perfect. You don't okay. What's funny about it? I mean, if you're not doing anything, okay, the best exercise, remember, take this message home. Muscle is better than fat, okay? It will help you, it will speed up your metabolism, okay? So that doesn't mean women go into testosterone and do weightlifting, okay? But if you do any like muscle stretching, a bit of muscle, I'm not talking about lifting 150 pounds, even 10, if you build up a little bit of muscle, that'll be perfect, okay? Walking, okay? People, I showed you, like, people say, I walk for 25 minutes. It's okay, you walk for 25 minutes, it's good. But 25 minutes of walking, it's going to make you use, a few hundred calories, okay? Don't eat those 2 teaspoons of mayo, that's 200 calories, too. Okay, that's at that time the balance is 400. So it helps. And then the problem is people get frustrated. I'm doing that, I'm not losing weight, okay? But remember, without it, okay, you're going to gain more, okay? And then we're not talking about, if you take a 20-year-old woman, and you all been in the 20s before, besides few women here, yeah? Okay? And then we don't realize I was 20 one time too, and I think I'm active. I wasn't a woman. But, honestly, we all have less physical activity. We used to be more active, okay? It goes down, okay? And remember, check and balance, You're having less physical activity. Remember what I told you about the basic metabolic rate. We're slowing down. It's something happened over the years, okay? So anything that you do, it's helpful. You can build up more muscle. If you do like aerobic for half an hour every day, that's perfect. But we don't expect everyone to be able to do that, okay? But again, anything will help, all right?
Start somewhere.
And you need someone to train with, or a walking buddy, or a tennis buddy, or anyone to do. If you are at 2 or in a part of a group, you are usually more motivated to go, compared to being on your own. Okay. If you go, when I prepared this lecture, I had to go. I said, what they gonna ask? Even I have to admit, and my wife, she's in the audience, I had to listen to Dr. Oz. I don't listen to him usually. Because people, and then I find out that Dr. Oz, and when you Google like weight loss, metabolism, even have a program for 7 days. He met all these women, 7 women at Central Station in New York City. You can go look at it, you see, okay? And then it works, he said, and there's a 7-day program. You seen it? Yeah? Have you tried it? Okay, there's nothing, I know. There's nothing new with this Dr. Oz program besides they tell you, look at your basic metabolic rate, set a goal, it's just the common sense, okay? And at the end, he tried to sell you those boosts, okay? And they can help speed up the metabolism. I don't know about it. Do they work? Yes. Have you tried it? Okay, try it, it's gonna work. I tell you why. All right, no, I'm just kidding. It will work, but I tell you why. Don't spend too much money. anything you do to help your weight loss, it will work for a short term. That is what we call placebo effect. Let me tell you, I used to give this I had this lecture one time in Missouri, and then it was a la mode at that time. One of the papers, they have those ads. I don't know if they're still available. You buy those, you put on your left wrist, and then like a band, or on your right. If you put it on the left, you lose from the hip. No, hold on. If you put it on the left, you lose from the hip. On the right, you lose from the belly. Have you seen it? It's like $30. You tried it?
No.
It works. Actually, it works in 2030. It's like placebo. It works. It doesn't mean the band did something, because anytime you make it's make you just aware, you start to cut down a little bit. So that's what I meant by those. The same thing. If you go to GNC store, there's a bunch of supplement, okay, that talk about boosting your metabolism, even for men. Okay, we are also vulnerable when it comes to weight. They want to build muscle. There is. Most of them has nothing. If you look at them, have a little bit of like some certain protein, certain herb, nothing. They have high dose B1, B6, vitamin. Okay, some of them you have to be careful. They have, if you look at it, it's at 5,500% what your average dose of B12 or B1 or B6. So that's a huge mega dose. You have to be careful sometimes. People still can have certain reaction from high dose of vitamin. Okay, but they have nothing, and they work. Because we are all desperate. We need something to lose weight. Nothing we have tried it works. Even if it works, and those work actually sometimes more than placebo. Placebo effect on average when you do something is around 20%. When it comes to something with depression, weight loss, stuff like that, the placebo effect actually is more than 20%. Or hot flashes, we done study, or we have done study for men for Viagra. We give them placebo, it works in 40%. So the point, anything subjective like that, anything subjective, it works, okay? There's a placebo effect. Can it be sustainable? It's going to work all the time? No. I think it works sometimes because also we don't think too much about it, but we start to make some change in our lifestyle, not taking the pill and do nothing, okay? So some people that come to my clinic, they have those boosters. Should I look at it. If it's anything over $4, I say don't take it. It's wasting your money. Plus, a lot of time you may not need them, okay? There have been some report, rare, that people have taken some extra extract like that, but they have some thyroid hormone in it, from animal grounded, so something that may boost the metabolism. But remember, all these over-the-counter drugs are not regulated by FDA. So even if they tell you a calcium tablet has 1,000 milligrams, it does not mean it has 1,000. It may have 800 or half. They are not FDA-regulated drug. So be careful about those boosters. Okay. All right. So again, common sense tell you, even if you look at any website, build a little bit of more muscle. As I said, you don't have to do like strenuous exercise. Okay, a little bit of muscle will help. Muscle burn more calorie than fat. Fuel up with water. Your body needs water to process calorie. Again, another thing with water, unfortunately, most people right nowadays, this bottle of water costs more than a soda. So they drinking soda, or they're drinking some Gatorade because I'm exercising, I have to drink Gatorade. Baloney. Don't do that. You're adding calorie, don't need it, okay? You're not doing like a marathon that you need to lose, you're losing all this electrolytes. For a moderate exercise, water. Another thing about water also, what people we don't sometimes understand, when you're a little bit thirsty, okay, metabolism slow down a little bit. Plus, thirst, a lot of time can be felt like hunger. Sometimes you're not hungry, but if you get a little bit dehydrated, you don't drink water, and you feel like you're hungry, but actually you're not hungry. If you have water, you're done, kind of, okay. I tell my patient, don't have icy cold water. It makes you sometimes also hungry. Not even room temperature, but a little bit of cold water, that'll be fine too. So again, water will help a little bit. I know, it's again, common sense. It makes more sense when you substitute your water for other high-calorie drink. People have like a couple of soda per day, 2-3 Gatorade, okay? That you have to be careful. I mean, I tell my patient, for example, a 12 ounce of soda, how many calories does it have? 150, 140, in that range, okay? Is that much? You have to run 2.5 miles probably to lose 140 calories. But also when I tell them a can of soda, 12 ounce, has 10 cubes of sugar. That's it. I would say, first of all, if I give you 10 cubes of sugar, would you eat it? No. Well, what when you have this 20 ounce of soda, it's even 16 and 18. Okay. Those are, we call them free calorie. Free calorie, they're not gonna make you hungry, feel full. Okay. They give you some glucose, and then when you're thirsty, look, and like in 15 seconds, you had like 150 calories. They're gone. Okay.
It makes you thirstier.
Yeah. So, all right. Interrupt me at any time. We're here till 10. A cup of 6 to 8 ounce. If you have 5, you're not gonna have what you call low sodium. You're not gonna get water intoxication by 6 to 8 cup of water. Sometimes people have some bladder issue. I heard it's gonna be a topic soon. If you drink too much, it may be. You don't want to have too much before you go to bed. You're not gonna have a good night's sleep. And the next day you're gonna be tired. But during the daytime, if you have no issue, have 6 cups. It's okay. Who cares? Okay. But depending also if you're sweating or no. Okay. If you're sitting in a nice AC room like 60 degrees, okay, you may not need as much. Okay. But again, if you have this habit to have the water drink, at least 4 to 5 cups per day, that'll be fine. Okay. Again, remember that the hunger feeling sometimes, the thirst can be felt like a hunger feeling in some patients. Okay. So, try not to have the soda. What about diet soda? People say, okay, I don't drink. I switch from my regular soda to diet soda. It should be better.
No.
Why no?
Sodium.
You said no, you should have an answer.
Sodium.
Okay.
It makes you want more sugar, is what I read.
The problem with the acid make you hungry too. Okay, so when you're dumping soda, although it should be no calorie, okay, it gives you a hunger feeling. So sometimes if you're trying to curb your appetite, having diet soda may not be the great answer because it's going to give you this like hunger feeling more. Okay, so try to avoid as much as you can. What about other good drink? We're going to talk. What about coffee? Dr. Oz or Dr. Google say coffee is good.
In moderation.
And dark chocolate.
In moderation.
Okay, those are very small. Caffeine. That's why I said dark chocolate. A few bites, okay? Because dark chocolate has more caffeine than coffee, if you don't know, and it's good. So it's been shown also a little bit, definitely. But again, use common sense. When I say coffee, it doesn't mean I go to Starbucks have grande, no, not venti, with all the cream and add the sugar. Okay, all right. Black coffee, that's mean. Okay, a few dark chocolate. Okay, caffeine. It speeds up your metabolism a little bit. But again, when we say that, it doesn't mean. Remember this, let's say the 1400, it may help by 1%, 2%. It's not going to take your metabolism from 1400, the basic metabolic rate, now it's going to be down to 1100 or 1000. It's not going to do that. Okay? So when it comes to coffee, yeah. Other thing people ask, or you see on the internet post or Dr. Oz, green tea or apple cider. Does it help? Okay. There is, green tea, not having too much sugar, it may not be bad. Okay, there are all these studies are like small, they take small group and they say, okay, I had green tea, I had a bit more weight loss from here, or the same thing for apple cider and then vinegar, so again, water, a little bit of coffee, okay, apple cider, okay, may help a little bit, okay, but again, you're not gonna substitute all the water for this drinking apple cider all day, all right, so it can, if you heard about it, if you've seen it, and now you can go to the GNC store or any store, you can have those vinegar and then even a tablet, have you seen it? They have, yeah. So again, and they charge you, I don't know how many dollars for like a small bottle. Yeah, it's for the prostate lecture. I'm just gonna, come on. You know this one. Right. Okay. Laughing. Why I said that? I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I just try to teach them that laughing help your metabolism a little bit. Okay. Not a joke. Little bit. Okay. It makes you use few calories. All right. All right. Spice up your meal. What about people say spicy food? Does spicy food help a little bit? Actually, yes. Okay? It can give you sometimes crave the hunger a little bit more. And maybe, again, remember, we're all talking about 3%, a few percent on the metabolic rate. So spicy food, eating food like, here they said the green tea, I was talking about the caffeine, hot chili, pepper, will not help you shed excess pound, but some may provide a small boost in your metabolism, but not enough to make a difference in your weight, as I explained to you. Remember? So that's why you have, even right now, maybe a combination of a tablet has a green tea, a little bit of hot chili, I know, and apple cider. But again, they help a little bit, all right? What about power up with protein? We're going to talk more about diet. I'm going to let you ask as many questions you want about diet at the end. What about protein? When you digest protein compared to carb, okay? Remember I told you need calorie to digest and to, so you're going to use more, calorie, digesting this protein than your carb, than your glic soda or the only plain pasta, or the rice or the potato. So, and the protein, what it does, give you a little bit more of hunger feeling. It curbs your appetite a little bit more compared to a carb, It's okay to have an omelet in the morning. It's okay to have an egg, a little bit, with the yolk. It's okay, if you like it. Versus, people say, I eat healthy. I have my oatmeal. I have my apple, and a little bit of a milk. So carb, carb, carb. It doesn't mean it's not healthy. So don't get me wrong, And each one is different. No. It does not mean it's a bad breakfast. It does not mean it's not healthy, It works. But the problem, especially if, I don't know each person of you, some people have insulin resistance or early diabetes. When you have that much carb in the morning or just carb, 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 what's going to happen? 2 hours later, you're hungry. Versus having an egg, even fat, a little bit of fat, some protein, in the morning, or alternate your breakfast. It gives you, may not feel as hungry 2 hours later than just carb, carb, carb. Have some cheese with it, I know. So again, don't be, unless you have a condition or your cholesterol or triglycerides are very high, For most patients who have not major medical problem like very high triglyceride, very high lipid, don't be afraid about having a lean protein, And again, there's also a common sense difference. If I'm going to have a piece of grilled chicken, Chicken is good, but I'm not saying breaded chicken and fried, All right. And there's a difference if I have 5-6 ounces of piece of chicken, like I saw you earlier had, versus 12 ounce. The same thing for red meat. It doesn't mean red meat can be bad. Actually, it can curb your appetite. Lean, it's okay. But also, it gives you fullness, Also, there's a difference. I'm going to have a 4 to 5 ounce, or I'm going to have a ribeye like 16 ounce, So portion-wise, all right. But again, don't be afraid about a little bit of fat. Don't be afraid about protein, especially in the morning, if it helps you curb the appetite, My wife makes fun of me. She's here? No. I go to McDonald's in the morning. I have their egg sandwich, and I tell them this is what suppressed my appetite for the whole day. They used to have those egg white delight, $3 for 2. It was the cheapest appetite suppressant. You eat 2. I'm not kidding. If it works for me, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It works for a lot of people. The point I'm trying to make, that a meal like that, it only have 250 calories or 300, so it's not that much. But eating that fatty food a little bit in the morning, and it just make me go till like 4 o'clock, and not really having hunger. Versus if you have only like carb, 2 hours later you're going to feel hungry. So, So don't be afraid about your fat or protein in the morning. Let's keep on moving by itself. All right. We talked about that your body burns more calorie digesting those protein than it does fat or the carbohydrate, as I explained to you. Again, it will add a little bit. All right. Avoid crash diet. That's very important. People go, they want to lose weight quickly. All right? So we tell them, and then I've been one of those guilty physicians, go on low-calorie diet, 1,200 calories. Everyone walks and says 1,200 calories. That's easy. We give them those apps, and say, try to count your calories, see what you're doing. Crash diet help only for a short term. If I have a wedding in the next a couple of weeks, I want to lose like a few more pounds. Go on a very, very low-calorie diet. It's okay. It may help, a little bit to lose a few pounds. But you're not going to stay on this crash diet for the rest of your life. The bad thing about this crash diet also, what I call very, very low calorie, it's going to make you sometimes feel tired, so less energy, less exercise. Remember, exercise is even more important than what goes into your mouth, Plus, what happened, eating less calorie, if you're trying to build up muscle, it's going to be a struggle, if you're eating too much low calorie, okay? So if I'm on a very, very low calorie diet, I go on those HCG diet, and then I'm losing weight because you're on 500-600 calories per day. How long can you maintain that? Eventually, you're going to go back and gain the weight, okay? And then also because you're going to lose muscle. No, there's no way you're going to be able to help maintain or build up muscle with this very, very low calorie diet around 600 or 700, okay? All right. So what a low calorie diet, if you look on average for a woman, is around 1,200, a man 1,800. Again, depending on the size. Some women need more than 1,200 calories, okay? Some men is 6'3" and then that muscular, 1,800 calories is not even enough. It is crash diet, okay? So depend. Hi, Dr. Biladi. Okay, what else I'm going to tell you about that? All right, the crash diet, is it helpful sometimes to cheat? That means if you take, it's been shown, let me tell you about any program for diet. Even the most prestigious university, they say Mayo Clinic. No, they're not, you have. Okay, or there's all this program, okay, they offer weight loss, okay? They all work. The best program, statistically, that's not something I made up. Any program for weight loss in this country, okay? Even you look at the best of them, after 2 years, patient will lose weight. At 2 years, most of them, guess what? They gain back plus 2%. It tells you what? There's no good program, you know? I mean, because we're not talking about 2 years, you know, we're talking about something that stays, okay? Remember, check and balances, you know, what we did initially. You need to keep it down. So even the best program, those crash diet, they don't work. So it's okay to cheat a little bit if you plan it, okay? I call it planned cheating. Once a week. Why are you looking at me? You don't like it? All right. What do I mean by that? Because if you go on, if you starve yourself all the time, I'm depriving myself from a lot of things I'm going to eat. It's been shown that it's going to fail, and then you go back, have a rebound, and eat more. Versus if you do what I call once a week, a planned cheat night or day, whatever you want to do it, okay? It can work as long as, you know what? My cheat day usually is I go to Zaxby. I'll have 1,401 meal because I like the sauce. But I know that evening I will have small meal, okay? I'm not going to have anything or much for breakfast. So if you can plan your cheat diet like that, okay? So you can, it will help, okay? It's okay to do it once a week, all right? As long as you don't do it every night, every day, you know? That actually it will help. And it's been shown, people who does that, they can maintain lower calorie diet, okay? And then maintain their weight loss better than people who just go starvation diet, what I call crash diet, okay? And do nothing. And then a couple of months later, they go back and rebound. So plan a weekly cheat. You all okay with that? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the wrong side. That's what I meant. Okay. You gave me those ideas. All right. All right. What about getting a full night of sleep? Okay. It's been shown that people who work night shift, nurses who work night shift, okay, any swing shift worker, okay, lack of sleep, and I have no idea why, and no other scientists will know exactly why. We don't know. We can postulate that it could be related to the cortisol, but bottom line, if you're a swing shift or a night shift, okay, people who are on night shift, they gain more weight. They have more incidence of having high, more diabetes, high blood pressure, central weight, okay? So the same thing, lack of sleep has been shown the same. We don't know why, and become like a vicious circle. Lack of sleep, I'm more tired, I don't exercise, you know, I feel bad about myself. I gain more weight, I feel bad about myself, I just go back and eat more, you know? It's like, it becomes like a vicious circle, okay? I know, sometimes it's easy said, sleep well, but sometimes people have insomnia. People sometimes have sleep apnea. Some people have too many things on their mind. But again, nonetheless, a good night's sleep, okay, will help, all right? I mean, if there's something that patient need help in that regard, maybe some pills, something like that, it's okay sometimes to use. As I said, for women have a lot of night sweats, hot flashes, the hormone therapy will help with that. That's okay, all right? So, What else we want to talk about? Crash diet here. All right. Before we get to diet, and then, what are the medical conditions that will slow my metabolism? People also, they want to come and say, okay, check me for X, Y, and Z. I think I have hormonal imbalance. Have you ever, is there a diagnosis code for that, Kelly? No? Okay. People say, I have hormonal imbalance. Or it's around my menopause. Okay. There's not that many diseases, unfortunately, that really slow your metabolism. One of them is low thyroid or hypothyroid. That's common in women, but not all women have weight issue or metabolism. They're all hypothyroid. I mean, it's good for my business. So it's not, yeah, I wish. All right. So, and also the problem with low thyroid, a lot of patients come and say, my doctor told me that I went and I checked on Dr. Google or Dr. Oz. They said my T3, it's not good. I should check my T3. And so all the levels are okay. So bottom line, thyroid, it has to be definitely very low to slow down your metabolism. Okay. Some people have a lot of around menopause or older women, 60, 70, okay? They're having a little bit of the lower end thyroid level. Most of the time do not need to be treated, in those women, okay? And this slightly at the lower end thyroid level does not explain the weight gain they have, okay? And then usually to have low thyroid causing the weight gain, that means your thyroid level is very low. That means you have thyroid surgery and you're not taking your medication, or you have what you call an autoimmune disease that your thyroid quit completely, that level are too low. At that time, definitely it can do that, okay? And why? And also women do not believe that when we tell them. Say, what are you talking about? I was okay till I started to take this thyroid pill. And unfortunately, they may be right in a way because also there's a coincidence. A lot of those thyroid issues also occur around menopause sometimes. So it's around the same time they have this, okay? And they, okay, it's my thyroid. That's an easy fix. If you have a low thyroid that's making you gain weight, that's an easy fix. We give medication, you get the level back to normal, that's okay. Unless you should be on a thyroid pill, you take your pill one day a week, and 7 days, 6 days you don't take it, yeah, your level is going to be always high, always low, you're going to gain weight because of that, all right? You're going to retain water, you're going to lose muscle, okay. So that's a very common condition, but a lot of time it's not the culprit. It's not what's causing the weight gain in an average woman. We have patients, we take their thyroid surgically out, and then we tell them don't take any thyroid hormone on purpose for 4 weeks because we do that for a thyroid cancer patient. They have to do a scan. 4 weeks, their level will be 0. I mean, those patients, they come back 4 weeks later, they're like tired, they can't, you know. And so those are real hypothyroid. And then you look at their cholesterol, it jumped double, you know. Their metabolism definitely is slowed down, you know. They feel the cold intolerance, constipation, but those are clearly low thyroid, not like barely borderline, or people they tell you, your level is not where it should be at the lower end, at the upper end, so that's why I'm putting my 50 pound, blame it on, okay? It's not true. Another condition that can cause excess weight, that's very well known, anytime you take steroid or excess cortisol, there is in our language something called Cushing disease, where your adrenal gland or your pituitary gland start to make too much cortisol on their own. But that's a very rare disease, okay, that people will have it. And then, or you don't have to have that disease if you take prednisone for whatever reason, for steroid, that's mean, for a lung disease, for rheumatoid arthritis, for dermatological disease that are bad. Long-term steroid, it's your worst enemy. It's going to make you gain weight. It's going to make you have central weight, okay? That definitely will slow down your metabolism. So those are conditions very obviously, and sometimes, unfortunately, we don't have a treatment for that. They have to be on those steroids, otherwise they can't, okay, survive. So excess cortisol because we're giving them medication or they're making extra on their own. Depression. Depression also, it's a vicious circle. Depression, if it's severe, it can go actually both. Most of the time it's overweight. Sometimes actually people can lose a bit of weight if they have very poor appetite, they have no interest, you know. Most of the time people who have depression, they're going to gain weight. Why? They feel fatigue, okay? They just feel down, tired, much less physical activity. Food becomes their comfort. They're going to eat more. They're not sleeping well. It become a vicious circle. And then if you add antipsychotic medication, not just the regular antidepressant, okay, those are also your worst enemy. They can cause more of the weight gain, okay? So it's become more a vicious circle. Also, some antidepressant medication also can help with the weight gain, like what you call the SSRI, the Prozac family, all this, they can add a little bit of the weight gain, okay. So That you have to be careful about. Those are conditions sometimes, they will add. Another question about depression. Doc, hold on. I don't want to take this antidepressant, although she's badly depressed, because I'm afraid about the weight gain. Actually, sometimes you take it, it helps your weight loss. Why? Because it's not the effect of the drug itself, okay, those SRI. Because if you're right now really badly depressed, and you take an SSRI, like Lexapro, Prozac, okay, what's going to happen? You're feeling better about yourself. You're more motivated, more physical activity. So just because of this transformation, you're going to feel, you may end up eating less, more physically active, losing sometimes more weight, okay? There are certain antidepressants right now, and they are part of a drug for weight loss, like Wellbutrin or stuff like that, or bupropion. They can help also a little bit of the weight loss, but they're not like a real weight loss medication, but they can help a little bit the weight loss. So certain drug for depression can have a little bit of positive effect on weight loss or metabolism too. Medication, a lot of medication that we just mentioned, steroid, okay, the prednisone. If patient is taking prednisone, it's bad. Medication like we use for high blood pressure called beta blocker can help a little bit of the weight gain also. But some people, they have to. But again, if you can avoid them, you don't need them, okay, that'll be even better. Everything adds a little bit. I'm not saying you're going to go and take someone who's taking beta blocker, take them off because they put 60 pounds over the last 20 years. She's talking about. Okay, but again, it could be. It can be adding. Antipsychotic medication, anti-seizure medication, okay? All this sometimes can add to the weight gain in a certain patient, all right? So, insulin is your worst enemy. Unfortunately, we have a lot of diabetes right now. The prevalence is going high and higher and higher, and a lot of 40, 50 years old have type 2 diabetes. And then if you're using insulin or a drug for diabetes that we call them sulfonylurea, like that also increase the insulin secretion, okay, what they do, they make you gain more weight. Insulin, and that's what happens, people have what you call polycystic also ovarian syndrome, what you call hyperinsulinemia. Add to the belly fat here, okay, and make you insulin resistant more, you build up more fat, again, it's like a vicious circle. So again, the least, doesn't mean insulin is bad, but if someone has to take insulin, the least, they'll be better, we tell them, okay. Is there a condition that will speed up my metabolism? An overactive thyroid. Remember I told the low thyroid can go that. So that's easy. Give me a thyroid medication. Give me a thyroid pill, doc. It will speed up my metabolism. There's a lot of clinic. You go here and you pay money. They give you a cocktail. A little bit of thyroid medication, a little bit of testosterone, a little bit of B12, and they say it will help your metabolism. And actually, they work. Remember what I told you? Dr. Welch is looking at me, don't tell them that. It doesn't work. Remember the placebo effect, little bit, Sometimes it works, but it's not good. Thyroid medication, to really lose weight, you have to be really taking extra, okay? And unfortunately, it's the best, although we know it's the best weight loss medication, we could not figure out to make a thyroid hormone pill that will target the fat cell and leave the muscle and the bone alone. Because if you have an overactive thyroid, I give you thyroid medication, it will make you lose fat. That's easy. I can guarantee you that. But the problem is going to make you lose bone, so osteoporosis, bone thinning, and also it's going to make you lose muscle. And the most important muscle is the heart muscle. So that's why we cannot use this drug for weight loss. Okay? A lot of those clinics, they don't give you too much. They give you a little bit, and then just enough to make your thyroid level at the upper end of normal. People say, yeah, I feel better. Sometimes it could be placebo effect too. But again, it's not something we do on a regular basis. To really lose weight, and we have those patients in the clinic that come in, she was like 200, now she's 160, she's very happy. But why? And she's like shaky like that, heart rate is like 120, but they have an overactive thyroid. And then we treat them, and they get upset. And I try to warn them the first thing, you're going to go back and gain the weight that you did not deserve. Because she did not lose that weight because she was exercising or eating less. She lost that weight because of this overactive thyroid hormone. They are 3-4 times more than it should be the normal range. Okay? So those other conditions really can speed up your metabolism. What about weight loss medication? You make us desperate, doc. There's no real cure, you're saying, right? What about weight loss medication? And I'm sorry, it's a little bit small, but I give you like a summary. They are the very, very old drug. If someone has been to a weight loss clinic and they want to boost their metabolism, we give a drug called Adipex or Phentermine. Okay? It's cheap, huh? I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very common. We use it a lot. I use it, okay? And I tell my patients it's like a Band-Aid. That means it works only for a short term. It works a bit better in younger population than old population, okay? It's okay as a startup, it's like a boost little bit, give you like a good startup so you can lose a few pounds, give you motivated to do the exercise, the physical activity. It can. Also, amphetamine give you sometimes energy. It's amphetamine. So some people say, oh, I feel a bit better on it. Okay. But again, it has side effects. You cannot use it if you have high blood pressure uncontrolled. You cannot use it if you have certain heart condition. You cannot use it in someone planning a pregnancy. A woman, you cannot use it if you have palpitation. It can make it worse. It may sometimes make the insomnia worse. Okay. And guess what? On average, even those drugs, although they are cheap, relatively safe, and a female has no medical problem, they make you lose, on average, 10% of the weight. For example, someone who's 200 pounds, what's the 10% is 20 pounds. So they're going to go from 180 to 200. Okay? They do well while on the pill. We have studied taking the pill for 2 years, 3 years, relatively safe. We don't know long term, if you take it for 10 years, 6 years, we don't know that data, unfortunately. We may be doing harm or good, we don't know. But for short term, 2, 3 years, it looks safe. And people lose weight. When you stop, remember the Band-Aid. Stop it, goes back. Unless you already change your metabolism a little bit. Remember, you're in this negative balance again a little bit. The diet, the exercise, okay. So it can help a little bit certain patients, and it's relatively cheap. They come in generic form, like $30. You remember, most insurance do not cover those pills usually. So some people, they use them. And there are some clinics that make you come every month, make you pay $50 or $100 because they only give you 30 tablets. Okay. But again, it's okay to try in certain patients if it helps boost their energy a little bit, help them jumpstart the process, it's acceptable, okay? And I use it. There are other new drugs that came on the market. One of them is the combination of phentermine and Topamax. Topamax is a drug we use for seizure, okay, and for migraine headache. So they did the combination, I told you that Topamax, this drug, along with the phentermine and a combination drug. And I found out it can help with the weight loss because people have used Topamax alone for another reason, for migraine or seizure. They say, okay, one of the side effects, I'm losing a bit of weight, okay? So they try to do the combination. The problem is not better than phentermine on average. It's way more expensive. It's called Kisimia. And then, I don't know exactly if you pay out of pocket, it's close to $180 to $200 per month supply. And most people don't want to pay for that, okay? Again, and it's not better than the phentermine alone. There's another drug, we use it for diabetes, and it's an injection medication. It's called the Saxenda, or it's what you call liraglutide. It's a drug, it's a hormone called GLP-1. If you hear it on the news or they do ad, and we inject those daily, 2 milligram injection, okay? This hormone, we use it in diabetic, it suppresses a little bit the appetite, and it helps producing something called increasing the GLP-1. It's a glucagon-like peptide hormone. Help your satiety, help you produce more insulin, and give you this like fullness. So some people, it can help them if they have this hunger feeling, especially if you have early diabetes or hyperinsulinemia, because remember what I told you, the bowl of cereal in the morning, you eat too much, you have this more hunger. It can help with that. So you won't feel that much hungry. So if you're already eating 2,500 calories and I want to go down to 16, 15, okay, it can help me do that without having this much of the hunger feeling. So again, they are not usually covered by most insurance plan, as a weight loss medication, and they are also expensive, a few $100 per month supply. Okay. The other drug came on the market, if you heard, it's called Belviq, or what's known as Locarcerin, the one I put on the top here. And those also, on average, weight loss is around 10%. And when we say 10%, I'm going to go back to that 200-pound lady. Okay, she may lose from 200 to 180. She may lose sometimes a little bit more than that, and some people may not lose anything at all. When those studies were done, 20% was an average. Some people even lost less than that, 10%. Some people actually lost 30%. Okay, not 30 is too much, but I mean 10, 15%. Okay, so that's an average. So most of those drugs, if you look at the advertisement or your doctor tells you, on average the efficacy is about the same. But I may tolerate phentermine better, okay, and you cannot because you took it, you start to have the palpitation, or I feel jittery, or I can't sleep. It may not work for you. Maybe Belviq will work, okay? All right, so you can try that. But again, the same concept. It's a Band-Aid. Once you stop taking it, okay, the weight's going to come back. All right, so all this, unfortunately, they don't have a cure. It's not like I'm resetting my metabolism, you know. Remember, I made it hopefully clear that we cannot change it. I know you get disappointed, but we cannot change this reset, okay? So none of those drugs will do that. We just, for a short term, you know, suppress your appetite a little bit and may help a little bit of the weight loss. The other drug you can see on the market, we talk about Qsymia, we talk about leucocerin. There is another drug we call the Contrave. It's a bupropion, the antidepressant medication, along with the drug naltrexone that we use for addiction. Okay, it's the same thing. This drug also should not, most of the time, is not covered by insurance plans. You have to pay those $200 out of pocket. Also, the long-term effect, more than 2 years, is not being shown. It's around 10% weight loss, the same. Okay, so you're not gonna reset this metabolism with those drugs. So it's okay as a jump start. A certain population, we have no contraindication for those drugs. Okay. What about weight loss surgery? When a patient comes in to our clinic and we ask them the first thing, what is your goal? I say, Mrs. X, oh, look at me. I mean, I'm 200 pounds. I say, hold on. When you were 18 years old, that's a good question. Okay, and you can ask yourself, how was your weight? Because there's two kinds of patient. There's someone who's been never 110 pounds in their life. Now they are like 220, okay? But when she was 18 years old, she also had the big bone, okay? And she was 180. Realistically, there's no way we can bring this patient or woman, okay, from this 220 to 140. Although in her mind, she wants to be 140, but it may not happen. Okay. There's, on the other hand, someone who are 200 pounds, okay? And they tell you I was always 120 till I have my first baby, you know, and I start to gain weight, and then blah, 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 and I'm now at 200. It doesn't mean they will go to 120 all the time, but it may be more realistic for this person, okay, to drop to 160, I don't know, like 15%, okay. And also depend, first, remember about those check and balance we talked about? If I'm taking someone, I like to use the guy, the Subway guy. You all remember him? Jared? Okay. You remember how much weight he lost? Okay? All right. The Subway guy, he was eating 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories. We used to do that in the clinic in St. Louis. We had people come in, they write down what they eat. I will encourage you to do that or look in the apps. First of all, when you do that, human nature, you realize and you cut down on your own. Some people like this guy, he will eat 6,000, 7,000 calories per day. Yes, definitely this guy, and he's young. If you take him from 6,000 calories per day, it doesn't mean the Subway diet is good, you know, and you go on like 1,500 calories from the Subway diet, you know, because he's not eating the foot long right now, he's eating, you know, he's going to lose weight. And he did, remember how he did exercise and physical activity. So a guy like that can have a drastic weight loss, and it can happen. And you see, oh, I have a friend, it can happen. But those are not your usual. Those are, unfortunately, the exception, and depending on the age. If you have someone that we see in the clinic the most, let's say a diabetic or someone has other medical problem that is not helping him to do exercise and more physical activity, arthritis, whatever, and they kept gaining weight, and now they are at 250, okay, where all her life she was, or a man, at 140, okay? So how much you want to lose? I want to lose 100 pounds. It is not a realistic goal. First, we did not gain all this weight overnight. At that time, remember what I showed about those drugs. It's okay to lose. They're going to help you lose 10%, okay? Okay, so that's the extreme case. Patients like that, we tell them, usually weight loss surgery, it's okay. Because patients like that, if they have no other medical problem, you know, right now they're trying the diet and exercise. They're dieting. They're around 1,500 calories, 1,400 calories. They're trying as much as they can to do their physical activity exercise. I tell my student, my fellow in the clinic, go, if you're 120 pounds right now, 140 pounds, take sandbag, 100 pounds of sandbag, wrap it around you and walk. That's how those people feel. You're going to get tired. You're going to get out of breath easily, okay? So for those patients, when they're going to lose 35% of their weight, 40% of their weight, weight loss surgery is not bad. It's good, especially if you do it at a younger age. And now younger age, I mean like even 50, 60, they do it, you know? It's not like, oh, I have to be in my 20s to do a weight loss surgery. Depending what you're looking. We're not doing this for aesthetic reason.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, we're doing this for medical.
Yeah, so if I understand what you're I'm not trying to lose 30 pounds. That's not my goal. So I'm not going to do weight loss surgery. I'm
No.
probably not going to take a medication because I don't like that idea. And I'm going to always struggle with this balance you're telling me about with the food and the exercise.
Mhm.
But is it, like if I want to lose 10 pounds, what is a realistic timeline and combination of exercise and food? Because as I've gotten older, I have less willpower. Right? I don't feel like saying no as much, and I want to have my glass of wine. So I'm trying to figure
Don't
out.
deprive yourself from your glass of wine. Don't deprive. Remember what I talked about the crash diet, okay?
Yeah.
All right. If you want to lose 10 pounds because you have an event in a couple of weeks, go on a very low calorie diet and exercise, you lose that. I'm not going to guarantee you that you're not going to gain it back. That's the problem. That's the answer you don't want to hear. Patients don't, I'm going to gain it back. You did not gain all this, even 10 pounds, you know. The easy few pounds that you lose initially are water weight. Okay? Those are easy, like few pounds like that. Those are water weight. Okay? Long term, and again, each patient is different. All right. What may apply to you that even for 10 pounds, okay? 10 pounds based on, let's say, I'm going to pick an example. 10 pounds for you is 10% of your weight because you're like 150. I'm just picking. So the 10 pounds is 10% of your weight. The 300-pound person, okay, 10 pounds is nothing. They will lose it quickly because 10% of this 300-pound person is 30 pounds. So when you say 10%, 10 pounds, depend, okay. And I would like you to know, tell me, I want to lose it from here.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to lose it from somewhere else. I don't want to lose too much weight because,
From here.
yeah, because I will look like that. Okay? But there's no magic. There's no magic, unfortunately. Again, you can use a bit of the weight loss medication. I'm not saying you have to. I mean, you can do a little more physical activity, and it's going to be like that. Okay? You did not gain all this weight, okay, overnight. I'm not saying you. Yeah.
My whole life
Yeah.
has been a 10-pound struggle. That's nothing.
And it's going to be. That's why don't fool yourself by going to those supplement or paying, you know, a lot of money that is not going to help. Okay? So unfortunately, when people ask about weight loss, I tell them it starts at a teenage. Okay? The problem is we get to a certain age and then we say, okay, now I want to lose weight. Now I realize. Okay? It doesn't, there's no magic bullet. Okay, I used the Subway guide just to tell you an example like that you can lose. If you're eating 5,000 calories, I'll make you lose 30 pounds probably. If you go from 5,000 calories to an average calorie 1,500. But if you're already eating 15, 17, 18, you know, you're not, like you're okay, you're decent. Little physical activity, it may not happen. Okay, again, unfortunately, I know you want an answer, say, give me something, there's not. Okay, there are certain people who lose more, depend. The people who lose more is if you're eating that much more calorie. Remember, the only thing you can do, we talked about this basic metabolic rate is not going to change. Okay? So either you're going to have more physical activity or eat a little bit less. Again, no crash diet, okay, for long term. Okay? So there's no magic. And then the weight loss surgery, just to answer that, it is not a bad thing for certain patients. I'm not saying for everyone has weight gain of 10 pounds a little bit, okay? Medically speaking, those patients, they do much better, losing 40% of their weight. It's not going to happen with any diet. There's no magic pill. It's been the same the last 20 years. There's no breakthrough. From Meridia to the one over-the-counter alley, we've been with that. There's no breakthrough. There's nothing. Remember what I told you, the best weight loss center in this country, okay, after 2 years, they go back and gain 2% of where they started. Not to disappoint you, but unfortunately, it's the reality. Okay? So that's why you have to set up the expectation for the patient. So.
I just wanted to follow up on what Catherine said, because something that I think is unique, you might have already spoken about this, since you realize that your room is full of women, right? It's
Okay.
menopause, right? You might have spoken about
Yeah,
menopause and the effect on your metabolism with menopause, which is why it's so hard after menopause.
I told them that menopause.
You already talked.
Yeah, but to answer that again, menopause, when you're going to hit menopause, okay, lack of estrogen, you know, more fat, less muscle on average. Whatever I was telling them, I'm trying to convince them that the basic metabolic rate is not going to change. It won't change much, maybe a little bit. Around menopause, I just told them on average, women at one of the slides, they lose 200 calories per day. So if your basic metabolic rate is 1,400, now it's going to be 1,200. Okay, so again, you cannot. That's what happened. And giving estrogen around menopause, it does not help with that. There are very, very small studies, maybe. So again, replacing the estrogen, unfortunately, it did not show that it will do that. But again, what happened around menopause, okay, that less physical activity, okay, more stress. Again, stress, cortisol. We don't know why, but some patients, okay, lack of sleep, we don't know everything, unfortunately. I'm sure there is a piece of the puzzle that if we can figure out, will make you lose weight, okay? But we don't know. This field has been like the same, stagnating for the last 20 years, 30 years. We don't have any breakthrough for weight loss, okay? We have tried, okay? There's right now those hormones with the ghrelin, but unfortunately there's nothing to offer for any patient. And then you see we had to use those drugs for diabetes, like to help a little bit of weight loss. And I told you, 10% is the average with those drugs, and once you stop, it goes away. It does not mean get disappointed. Does not mean don't keep your physical activity maintained. Does not mean keep your calorie, as much as you can, and this nice balance. Don't go and 5,000 calorie, every day. It's not going to help at that time. So.
What about that program that everybody's talking about, the 522, where it's supposed to jumpstart your metabolism if you fast or eat and you alternating patterns?
There's no. You see, all these are very small study, okay? And there's some a little bit positive, a bit negative. Unfortunately, the same thing. Oh, what about I eat small, frequent meal? So there are people like say, okay, if I eat more carb in the evening, it's better than I take in the morning. There's no, unfortunately, solid data, okay, that we can say, okay, give it to the mass population, say, okay, do that, it will help. There's nothing. Sometimes it may work for certain patients better, depending on their lifestyle, but there's no data like showing that it's better. Small frequent meal or starvation diet and then go back. No. Again, the only thing you don't want to have is starvation diet, in my opinion. Okay, and I believe in it. I tell my patients don't go on starvation diet. Okay, unless very, very short term. Okay, because it's not going to help you. You're going to lose muscle and then you're going to go back and then gain it. Okay, and that's why you have to do something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. We're not doing something for a day or two or a week or a month or 6 months.
All right, I don't believe you that I'm the only one with this question.
All right. I take all your questions. I'm not going to show any slide or show data. And again, depending on the expectation also. Expectation of the patients are very important. Okay? Because some people, they come with the expectation, I want to lose 30% of my weight. It may not happen. I have a patient up front, I say, I don't want to offend you, but weight loss surgery is for you. Quality of life is going to be better. And then it's helpful.
See, and that idea just terrifies me.
Each patient is different. Again, we're not doing a consultation. Some patients, those weight loss surgery right now, nowadays, the risk is very minimal. We're not sending a patient to do weight loss surgery aesthetically, because of aesthetic reason. Okay? We have patients who have diabetes. They have to take all this insulin. It's become a vicious circle.
No, I had a friend of mine that just had it 2 years ago. She was 307 pounds, and now she's like this and just as cute as all get out and is a whole new person. I get that, but it just terrifies me.
Again, it's a minimal risk. The risk of if you go and have an appendectomy, an appendix or hysterectomy, okay, because you need to have it, to have a complication, it's there. And patients that we're sending them for surgery like that have other medical problems. They are morbidly obese, okay? They have sleep apnea, they have the arthritis, they have the back pain, Again, it's been very well known. We tell diabetics, don't go for surgery to be out of insulin. That just means I don't have to use insulin anymore. For quality of life, and it's been shown, up to for over 10 years, it works, okay? So again, it's not for everyone. But again, I'm just trying to say, the patient that comes like 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and they want to be like losing 40%, it may not happen. You have to set realistic goals. Okay.
I think the trick is on the knowing that if the procedure is safe for you. When we're talking about gastric surgery, knowing if the procedure is safe for you, really answering the questions, what are the fears, because it has become a safe procedure. But I think that it is important for women or men contemplating the surgery to know that
We have people who have eating issues. That's why before the surgery, we tell them you have to have a psych evaluation.
Right.
Because we sure there's nothing. And sometimes even we do that, we cannot, unfortunately, find every patient. We have patients that do that, and they go back, have shakes, soda, liquid diet, and then you can go back and gain all the weight. And so, yeah.
Earlier you said it takes more calories and more metabolism to break down protein, so eat more protein than carbs.
Uh-huh.
What about with vegetables and things like that?
I mean, vegetables that don't have much of your calorie. I mean, it's okay to make you feel full, but the message is to stay away. It's okay to have meat. It's okay to have protein or lean meat. Okay, because what I was trying to tell you, it takes more calorie to break down. Okay, a meal has more protein than a carb meal. But again, it's a small, still relatively small percent. Okay, but remember I told you also because the effect of the protein on the fullness. Okay, versus a meal that has only carb. Full carb, it make you feel hungry.
So
Okay.
calorie for calorie, it's better to have the protein than the carb, but the vegetables don't have that many calories.
Yeah, it's a balanced diet. Going back to the diet, okay. People will say, what's the best diet? Okay, you all I'm sure have heard. Just what's the best diet? Mediterranean diet. Actually, I agree with you. You can okay. All right. Let me tell you, there is something I did not show. The next slide is about mindful eating. Okay. Mediterranean diet, I'm Mediterranean myself. But Mediterranean diet, okay, it has vegetable more, you know. The Mediterranean diet also what they do. They don't sit and shovel 1,200 calories in 1 minute, tick, 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 in 6 minutes. Mediterranean diet, the real diet, when you go to Mediterranean area, okay, when I go back home, they start lunch, let's say at 4 o'clock, we eat lunch. Lunch end up at what time? 9 o'clock in the evening. They sit, they eat slowly, they enjoy their food, they have a bit of a drink. Okay, we're not having that 1,200 calorie in whatever, Zaxby, whatever. Okay, so again, Mediterranean diet has more olive oil, vegetable. Okay, but again, you can have very high calorie on a Mediterranean diet too. Okay, so you have to be careful when you say Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet. The best diet is. Anyone else heard about any good diet besides Mediterranean food? What? Dash diet. What's the Dash diet? Excuse my ignorance. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I agree. I'm telling you why I agree, because there's no good diet. I'm here. What's another good diet? What about South Beach diet?
People do Atkins, they do South Beach, Weight
Okay. Okay. Weight Watcher there's nothing. It's a rip-off. It works because it works because they give you all this diet. Remember, they want to sell. Think about it that way. If there's one good diet, that's it. That's the diet, or one pill, and then whoever invented this diet is going to be There's no good diet. The best diet is Dr. Shehadi's diet, which is common sense diet. That's what I tell my patients. All right. The common sense tells you need to eat something that you can do for the rest of your life. Okay? The Mediterranean diet. What's the South Beach diet? A little bit of less carb, more. Okay, it's a healthy diet. What about? But they have to give it a flavor. If they call it, they don't give it a name, it's not gonna sell, right? And they make even shakes. I'm gonna go back and tell you about the shakes. What about the Weight Watcher diet? They give you a point, which is the calorie. You know, there's nothing. They have to give it a flavor to sell. Otherwise, it's not gonna sell. Okay? So all this diet, unfortunately, don't do crash diet, are acceptable. It's a common sense. When you say not having too much carb, you know, it's okay to have 30% of protein from your diet, okay? All right? Not much processed food. Avoid those caffeinated beverages like I told you before, like free calorie. I mean, they're all the same at the end. You can call it whatever you want. But to sell, you have to give it a name, okay? So that's why a diet it's common sense, you know? The common sense tells you don't sit and more vegetable, you know. The common sense diet tells you don't have the fried food, don't have the energy drink or the 32-ounce sweet tea, you know, 3 times a day. So that's what the common sense diet is.
Since as we get older, you said metabolism slows down. What is there?
Hold on. I did not say that a little bit it slowed down. And then you came late, and then you were looking for the prostate lecture, right? I said, I'm just kidding. To answer you, you're right. With age, it slowed down a little bit, okay? around menopause, another 200 calorie, more.
Would you eat to speed up their metabolism?
There's no food that speed up the metabolism. I wish we know if there's something. There is, remember, there is certain food like we said green tea, a little bit of caffeine, the dark chocolate, okay, the spices, they may help a little bit, but a small percent, 3% for, something very, very minimal. Not enough to you see major weight loss because of that, okay? People, if you go on Google, there's a bunch of diet that tell you, there's a 55 diet that will speed up your metabolism. Try it and come back and let me know, okay? Long term. I mean, again, definitely if you eat too much processed food, high calorie, you're not slowing down your metabolism, you're just in this positive balance. You're adding more calorie than what you're spending, Okay? If you make more money than what you spend, you're going to have some in your account, right? The same thing here, you're going to have fat.
But then the body is proportioned as you get older because certain areas it sits and holds.
Which is the abdominal fat. We are all born with certain amount of fat cell, okay? That's also, we cannot change it, but we can feed that, okay? When you're born, probably you have more fat here, okay? Someone else in the family have more fat in the butt area, okay? Someone else has more in the so we are all born with certain amount of fat cell, okay? Feed them, they're gonna grow, okay? And those fat cells, they grow what I call an exponential, not anymore linear. The more you eat, it's gonna be more, not anymore I call linear, like more exponential. They get worse and worse and worse. And if you gain the weight over the years more and more and more, it's gonna be harder for those, fat cell to dissolve compared when you're 25 years old. 25 years old, you gain 10, 15 pounds, you do some exercise, boop, you lose it again. Understand that. Yeah. And again, I know you won't, I did not pick this topic. Don't pick this topic. It's disappointing.
Not getting out of the room unless you do something.
Again, I know, I showed you the medication, I showed you some, there's unfortunately not, each patient is a different consultation. Sometimes we find other disease, But again, we do a lot of behavioral therapy. When I was at St. Louis University, we have a behavioral therapy that comes to the weight loss clinic with us. It can help you. For example, a couple of things. This is the same thing as mindful eating, Sometimes we're bored. If you go to the movie, right now I just ate, I didn't eat, but let's say I go right now and watch a movie. I'm gonna go to the popcorn line and grab a popcorn and sit. Although I just ate, I'm not hungry, I'm just bored. The same thing we do at home. So behavioral therapy and mindful eating sometimes, it helps patients, with that. We are usually not hungry, we're bored. So sometimes we teach them like also how to substitute certain snack, healthy snack, compared to having, let's say, 500 calorie snack or an ice cream, okay? It does not mean you cannot have ice cream, but if you can control yourself, have 2 scoop, and stop there, maybe it's okay. If not, I tell my patient the popcorn diet, snack in the evening. Anyone like popcorn? You have a bag, pop it, no butter, okay? You're not usually hungry most of the night, okay? Because it has a very minimal amount of carb, maybe 15 grams, not that much, okay? And then when you eat it one at a time with water, okay? You're tricking your brain. You're not hungry, you're bored, you're watching Netflix, okay? Again, or you can have a ham sandwich that much, put a little bit of mayo, and then, again, there's no magic. People want a magic bullet, there's nothing. Again, sometimes, if you like, you may not like that, you have to do something else, I know.
How about water?
Huh?
Water before in the morning,
I
water
told
at
her,
night.
there's study showing as soon as you wake up and have a little bit of water, they said you lose a bit more weight. It has some truth, I know, but it can help. I just told them the same. People sometimes are not hungry. They're a bit dehydrated or thirsty. And we conceive the thirst as hunger, okay? If you drink water, you may curb this appetite a little bit.
I may have missed this, and you may have mentioned it, but I was told a long time ago that if you eat, like when you first wake up, within the first 30 minutes, that helps.
No, I said,
Does it make any difference?
unfortunately, there's a bunch of studies scientifically made, okay? The way you do a study, we do 2 arms, okay? And then we look at which one there's no way of eating. That means more in the morning. You say, you have to eat more breakfast, a big breakfast, and it has not been shown. But it may work for certain people.
On the way to work, if I
But again, it may work for certain people. Like I said, if you have sometimes more protein, it's okay. So if you tell me I eat a banana, it helped me. It's okay. If it works for you, it has a carb, it's okay. Do it if it's suppressing your appetite, okay? So each one is a bit different.
Okay.
So, but there's no evidence, medical like speaking, that we can say, okay, eat more for the breakfast, or if you eat more at lunch, that it will do, you lose more weight. It has not been shown. Okay.
More than when you first wake up.
There was a study that as soon as you wake up, if you have water, okay, it helps. But again, it's a very small study, minimal weight loss. It's not like something big.
Is there anything showing that like, taking probiotics or a gut microbiome has an impact on metabolism or weight loss or weight gain?
Unfortunately, no. I know it's a new era that people want to use that, okay, and tell you, not really. It's not, yeah. And there's some people like talk about, because of the flora of your gut, and then that's why you're not digesting. And okay, having yogurt actually, Greek yogurt has been shown that helps. It helps not just because of the probiotic, sometimes a bit more helping the appetite. Okay, yeah. So it's acceptable. Again, all these studies are small. They take 100 people here. They're not even well done. It's not gonna common sense tell you it's okay to have Greek yogurt, right? Yeah. I mean, a bit of probiotic, it's not going to hurt you. It may not do anything good too.
We're like just a couple more questions and then we probably need to wrap up.
Is there a certain time you should not eat anymore at a certain time of day, like 3 hours before you go to bed, you should finish eating what you're eating, or does that matter?
Nice question. Unfortunately, the same thing. I look into that and look at recent study. Common sense tell you don't eat after when you go to bed in the middle of the night, right? Okay, those are. But having small frequent meal, okay, or stopping at 8 o'clock and I go to bed at 11 has not been shown. You have more weight loss or it help much with the metabolism. Again, each one a bit different. Some people they do better. Okay, that's also we tell patients. Some people they do better having 3 big meals and that's it. Why? Because they don't have the will. If you tell them have frequent small meal, they start to eat, they're going to end up having more calories. They eat more. They can't stop. If you're one of those person, okay, although it may work for me, but it may not work for you. At that time, 3 meals a day, it's okay. Some people, they do better having small, frequent, like the athlete, they say.
My own experience, to me, menopause has been a disaster.
Yes.
You know, in terms of attitude, in terms of the ability to have the drive to do the things that I used to do. It's just that, and it's a period that lasts a long time.
Yep.
It starts in your 40s and it lasts way into your 60s. So we're stuck in that period. So you have to learn to know yourself, and I know that I put in 1 year I put 15 pounds, but I know why, and it's not just menopause. It's just that I wasn't, I'm not exercising as much. So you have to find yourself.
You may be able to maintain. Okay, you're gonna gain some weight around middle age, whatever you're gonna call it, menopause or non-menopause. Okay. Because a bit of slowing down of the metabolism, okay? Because no matter how much we are careful, we're gonna still eat a little bit extra calorie every day more than what we're burning, It's our 401k plan, going up, going on. So again, we cannot change that, right?